Mark Rogers TV amped up for week 13 of our college football predictions. It is rivalry week, and this is really what sets college football apart from the other sports. The pageantry, the tradition, the history, the passion, and the intensity of college football rivalries coast to coast. We've got a lot of championship implications, conference level and BCS level, all over the place. Let's run down the games. Starting on Thursday, Thanksgiving night at College Station, Texas A&M hosting Texas. Longhorns own this rivalry traditionally, but we like the playmakers on offense for Texas A&M to win the game, but Texas keeps it close. Take Texas plus the 7.5 points. A&M wins the game outright. Moving on to Friday, Tulsa, Houston. The Cougars with the chance to complete an undefeated season. They've squeaked their way into the BCS talk recently, and the Cougars score 50-55 in this one, and they win it -3. LSU and Arkansas. Here we go with the big matchups. 1-3 in the BCS. Tyler Wilson and the Hogs have a great passing offense, probably the best, along with Oklahoma State in the country. But championships are won with defense and a ground game, and LSU has both. And that ground game is about 4 deep at running back, and especially in the fourth quarter, they pound teams down. Jordan Jefferson's got his game together, and LSU wins it. But the Hogs do keep it close. Take Arkansas with the 12 points there. Also on Friday, we've got Nebraska and Iowa, a game that the Big Ten would like to see turn into a regional rivalry there, and it should be a good one in future years. This one, a marginal matchup of mid-tier bowl teams. Nebraska looked awful against Michigan last week. They rebound a bit at home, but take Iowa plus the points. 9.5 big points with Iowa taking on Nebraska. The Huskers have found life difficult in the Big Ten. That 4-3 record in conference could be much worse if you really look at the ball games, and they have been wasted by Wisconsin and Michigan. Moving on to Saturday. Okay, the Iron Bowl. We've got Alabama, 21-point favorite against Auburn, and we just can't figure out how Gene Chizik is going to keep this one close all the way. He's going to figure out a way maybe to keep it like 10-0, 10-3 at half, and then Bama pours it on. Auburn will not be able to score in this game. 2 years ago, Alabama was rolling to a national championship, and Auburn was a 7-5 team and took the Tide inside a minute and really made them sweat. But we don't expect it this time. Take the Tide -21 against Auburn. Virginia Tech, Virginia, playing for an ACC championship berth. The Cavs are overachieving and continue to get it done under Mike London. What a job he has done, coming off a big win in the final seconds against Florida State. Virginia Tech, though, a better team, wins the game. But we like the Cavs to keep it close. Take Virginia +5 at home. Notre Dame, Stanford. Stanford, really nothing special. I think they're proving this late in the season against teams like USC and Oregon, and also Cal last week. They squeaked it out by 3. The Cardinal obviously have the best quarterback in the country, and they've got some marginal talent on offense, and they're a smart team. They play disciplined football, but they're really not that special or dynamic. Notre Dame, very similar. The Irish, despite just a 2-point win last week, playing much better after the 0-2 start. We like an upset pick here. Notre Dame wins on the road at Stanford, so of course we like the Irish plus the 7 in a confidence pick there. Boise, Wyoming, let's skip over this one real quick. Broncos get it done. They cover 33.5 against the Cowboys. Oklahoma, Iowa State, of course the Cyclones with the win of the year, maybe the win of their program in recent history. Now going to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. And we like Oklahoma to bounce back from their loss and to do it in a big way. Take Oklahoma -28. Although, if you've watched this in the past, we hate the big point spreads because when the game gets out of hand, who knows what the finish is going to be like. Okay, Sooners -28 there. Oregon State in the Civil War. Ducks, national title hopes dashed, but they need to win this game to move on to the Pac-12 championship game. So we like Oregon, and Oregon big in this one over Oregon State. Take the Ducks -28, despite the rivalry aspect there. Clemson and South Carolina, the Tigers were in the national title picture. North Carolina State took care of that for sure last week. They got a rebound in their rivalry game at South Carolina. This going to be a really close game. We do like Clemson. We like them to win it outright. They've bounced back every time after those 2 losses this year, and they did it before, and they've played a tough schedule. They play the better opponents, and they get up for these kind of games. They've proven it 4 or 5 times this year. Clemson +4, and the Tigers do win it outright against the Gamecocks here, even on the road. Georgia Tech. This a string of games we're coming up on here where we're looking at the letdown aspect. Here with Georgia, they wrapped up the SEC title game berth last week against Kentucky. Now they play, their rival, Georgia Tech, but the game's somewhat meaningless if you look at the standings. But Georgia does win. They've got superior athletes. They've got a better football team flat out. Georgia Tech competes in the ACC. Georgia in the SEC. There's a big difference right there. Georgia wins it, but we like Tech to keep it close. Take Tech +6 there. Northwestern, Michigan State, again, a possible letdown. Michigan State wrapped up the Big Ten championship berth last week. They've got nothing to play for, seemingly, against Northwestern, and they're on the road. We like the Wildcats to win the game. Big upset here. Northwestern beats Michigan State. Michigan State saying all the right things. They are a better team. They say they're not going to look ahead to Wisconsin, but they do. And despite the 3rd-ranked defense in the country and a much more talented team, the Wildcats win it. And, of course, they cover a +7 situation. Baylor, Texas Tech. The Red Raiders are awful. And Baylor, yes, they won their biggest game in forever last week in their 21st try in defeating Oklahoma. So that could be a letdown, sure, but we like Baylor and Robert Griffin III to get it done and even get it done -12. So take Baylor -12 against Texas Tech. Ohio State, Michigan. Not what it usually is, but still the game and the best rivalry maybe in sports. Okay, Buckeyes have won this game every year going back to 2003. They've dominated, of course, but no Rich Rod in the picture anymore for Michigan. The Michigan turnaround's been astounding, especially on defense, with Greg Madison taking over. What they did against Nebraska last week was stuff Rex Burkhead and contain Taylor Martinez. This Michigan defense has turned around in an unbelievable way. Buckeyes can't score on offense, but the rivalry aspect with maybe still the most talented and fast roster in the Big Ten in scarlet and gray. So we like the Buckeyes to pull off the upset on the road. Braxton Miller steps up to the challenge. He's done it. Look at the Wisconsin game. So, of course, we like the Buckeyes to win it outright and plus the 7.5 points in a confidence pick for the Buckeyes over Michigan. Wisconsin, Penn State, biggest game in the Big Ten, of course. The championship game's on the line. Winner take all. Wisconsin, a big 15